Yes. So I hope you understood what I said. Now you got to what do you mean by skimming? What do you mean by skimming?
It means like searching,
Yes.
skimming and scanning is like searching for points in the
No,
like relevant points.
not yet. Skimming does not mean you are searching or scanning for relevant points. Skimming means you read the title of the passage, get a general idea of what the passage is. Now, for instance, just imagine you get a letter from the school, right? And you wonder what it is. So, what would you do? You would look at the cover of the letter or the envelope that it is in, and you may think, oh, it has come from or you would think it has come from my school teacher, or has it come from the principal's office? So you may figure it out by the way it looks, the outer appearance
Yeah,
of it, right?
yeah,
Then,
you could basically judging how it looks.
yes, exactly. Then you would want to see like what is, you will be curious enough to see what is in it. So now you may be, now say you are in a hurry, you have to go home and you receive this document just about that you were leaving, but still you're curious to find out what it is about. And then what you do is you open it. You open it. Would you have time to read all of the words and sentences and scan it to see what it really is about? You don't have time,
Yeah,
right? So what would you do? You read the heading, then you read from whom it is, and you just read the subheading, and then you just scan, you scan, you quickly read. Scanning means you quickly read it to get a general idea about the letter that you got. Is that clear?
yes,
At this point, you do not go into detail or you do not scan for relevant information from the text. So you just get a brief idea. Brief idea. Okay, this is about this. I must go home, and then you sit down and nicely you sit and read it. That is the second step. That is scanning. Then if there is an event or something is happening, where is it happening? Which date is it happening? Who is coming? With whom should I come? Which hall is it happening? What is it about? All that you sit, go home, you sit, that's the second step, right? But getting to know what you have in your hand, the text is skimming. Am I making sense?
yes,
Right? So, so you read this, forget about the words that you do not understand. You're not supposed to, you don't have to know each and every word that you are not familiar with. There's plenty of words like that. So what we can do is, if we really need to, according to the question, if we really need to know the meaning of a particular word, what we can do is read words before and after that particular word in order, or maybe that whole passage, the whole paragraph, in order to understand what it means. Am I making sense?
yes, miss.
Yes. So now is the time you skim your document and then you read the question very carefully. That is very important. Why many students fail to answer the question is because they do not read it carefully, right? So you got to read your question very carefully and answer it. So forget about all these 12 marks and points that you're going to get for it. That we can think about afterwards. First, try to improve the skill of skimming and scanning for ideas. right? Read for ideas, read to find information. So whilst after you read this, right, you try to focus on these two, there's two separate headings that you need to find points on. First one is advantages of out-of-town shops and shopping. The second one are advantages of town center shops and shopping. So it is easy. What have you got to find actually? Advantages, the similarity of both topics are advantages. So you scan for details that includes advantages. Okay, now what type of advantages is it talking about? It's talking about, the first one is talking about out-of-town shops and shopping advantages. Clear?
Yes.
Then the second one is talking about what?
It's advantages of town center shops and shopping.
Town center. So now see, can you see how I narrowed it down for you? So this is exactly what you should do when you get a question. If it seems to be very complicated and it's not understandable, so you just try to understand it in this way, narrow it down to a particular position where you could understand it. Now I think it is simple. So what exactly have we got to find from the passage for advantages? But it's yes, the
Advantage.
Sorry, can't say that.
No, I thought you were asking me to tell you. Nothing's fine.
Okay. So, so the first category that you need to find out is out-of-town shops and shopping. The second topic is about town center shops and shopping. Now, am I clear? Do you have any questions?
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
I don't have any questions.
Okay, good. So shall we start then?
Okay.
Right. So the first one is done. Retail parks have plenty of parking space, which are generally free of charge. Okay. So what have you found? Can you tell me the one point that you found?
Retail parks have plenty of parking spaces, which are generally free of charge. Second point, drivers are not faced with as much of congestion on roads as they would be if they were heading for a town center, and so the traveling experience is pleasant, with customers arriving at shops in relaxed frame of mind.
Yes, good. Exactly, right. Okay. So that is the second point. What is the third point?
Out-of-town shopping opportunities are found in large, bright, modern malls, and so shopping can be done in comfortable temperatures under one roof. No need to keep the weather in mind when preparing for shopping trips. Simply get your car and go.
So when you're writing in a point basis, it has to be a point. Sub-details, not necessary that much, just pointing out a fact there. So there's a wide range of goods in a single trip, and there's one point. So there's comfortable temperature, right, under one roof. There's one point. And what else did you find?
Okay, my last point is 1 second. Okay, because of the space available and because the land tends to be cheaper than in town centers, retailers build bigger stores out of town than in town, thus offering a greater variety of goods for sales.
Now that there again, so that's what I'm saying. Can you read that point? Can you read that point?
Because of the space available
Hmm.
and because the land tends to be cheaper than in town centers,
Hmm.
retailers build bigger stores out of town than in town, thus offering a greater variety of goods for sale.
Hmm. Yes, so what you're saying is correct, but it is not a point. I mean, you are elaborating on the point, which you have to do if you're writing a summary or a passage, or you have to elaborate on what is happening. But when you are writing a point, the point is like just a phrase of the main idea. You can lift it up, lift it from the passage, or it could be your own words also. It doesn't matter, right? So to this, so did you take that point from the third paragraph?
Yes.
Yes.
No, I got from the second paragraph, I think. I got my points from the first and second.
First and
Um,
second. Uh-huh. Can you tell
yeah.
me the line that you took? Which line did you
Okay, let
pick?
me count. The line is line 12 for the one I just said.
Okay. So get into your car and go because of the space available and because the land tends to be cheaper than in town centers, retailers build bigger stores. Now that is a like because the land tends to be cheaper than in town centers, retailers build bigger stores out of town. So you got to what you call highlight on retailers build bigger stores out of town, right? Out of town. Retail, retailers build bigger stores. So that's a point. Now, if you go to write all of this in one particular point, it is not going to be a point. You're writing a paragraph. Okay. Then greater variety of goods. That's one point. Just a phrase. That's all. How do you do it at your school when you have to find points? Do you have to write 2 or 3 sentences, or do you write just one phrase when it is a point?
One phrase.
Yeah, so that's what. Just one phrase. So that is everything. Retailers build bigger stores. So that is an advantage. So because the topic is anyway given, why? What are the advantages? Retailers build bigger stores because when you have shopping out of town, shops out of town, shopping out of town, great variety of goods. So you have to be it has to be point based, right? Not like so many sentences to a point. Then if you are highlighting on the point that sometimes the goods are cheap. So cheaper goods, one phrase, like, in one place. Then comfortable temperature under one roof. That's about it. You must not go to elaborate, say, like, because of this and that, and this is happening. There is a time that you should do it, but not when you write only points. Do you get what I said?
Yeah.
Yes. So, okay, overall that you have the skill of finding out details, that's a good thing. Only thing when you find details like that, try to understand the question. If you are asked to write it in points, then try to make it short as you can, but give the main idea, right? Rather than describing it. There is a time to describe it when you write, if you are given a question, whereas you have to now take all of what the points that you have found and now summarize it. Yes, you may have to do it, then describe it a little bit more. Is that clear?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So